What's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about a tomahawk, and this one in particular from the brand the CRKT Tomahawk. This one here is also known as the Kangee. It's a pretty decent sized hawk. One you don't really see a whole lot of. I mean, most tomahawks are usually like have a little bit of length cut, so they're usually shorter than this. I assume it's because they're mostly designed to throw and to be like something on the quick draw. This thing though is like, in my opinion, kind of like a hybrid between a throwing axe and a small, or should I say, small tomahawk and regular wood splitting axe. This thing could definitely do that. This is what I would call a medium-sized axe if you were just going to call it that. But in any case, this thing here is pretty effective. I used it to split wood not too long ago. Actually, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and works great. Head is pretty heavy, so it's gonna go through the wood. The spike here is gonna help you be able to split it if it can't go any further. So so this really compensates for this part right here. It's a pretty effective tool. And if you guys are interested in getting something like this, be advised that these things do have a kind of a like a coating on here. I don't know I don't remember what the name of the coating is, but it's shiny, and when your hands are sweaty, your hands are going to slip off of it pretty easily. So that can be kind of dangerous. But you can add like this leather cordage here, like how I did it. Yeah, so now that I did that, my hand's not going to lose grip pretty easily. And one of the things you guys can do to make sure it stays on there, uh, as opposed to using glue, you just you wet it, then you can wrap it, and once it dries, it's gonna contract and just stay on there for a good while. And you can do that as many times as you want. Like if there's comes a time where you need to replace the leather cordage, you can do you can do that. And the cool thing is, if you ever need to in a survival situation or just camping in general, you can unwrap this thing and you can use it for whatever necessities you need out in the wild. I mean, there's always an endless use for cordage. I also did it. I also did some cord wrapping around the head also. That was just to basically help keep the head in place, because sometimes when you use a tomahawk or any axe for that matter for a good while that's not like bolted on both sides, the head is definitely going to eventually come off. You can fix that by banging on something hard and going like this, just so it locks into place. But this is just to kind of reinforce it a little bit, and at the same and like this part right here, you can definitely redo that anytime you want. And I did the same thing where I soaked it and then I wrapped it, so it's gonna stay on there pretty tight for a good while. And yeah, so this is a pretty good camping tool, survival situation tool. What I like is it also has this part right here, so you can just do some shavings if you need to. Of course, be careful with the spike, because you definitely don't want to get too complacent thinking, oh, it's secure like this. No, you just got to be aware of this and make sure no one's gonna like push you over and spike yourself. Yeah. And one of the reasons why I bought it was because I was interested. I like the Assassin's Creed Tomahawk, and I wonder, do we have anything similar to that? Do we have anything that works like that? Well, we do, and this one here was just the most different type of tomahawk I've ever seen, because there are some tactical tomahawks today that are designed with a spike at the end, but the spike is shorter, and that spike is not designed to split wood. It's designed to hurt people, at least, or an animal, depending what you're going with. But I needed something that had a little more meat to it, a little more heftiness. I could definitely see this thing being used to help me defend myself against a bear using the spike, and it's going to go in quite a bit, as you can see right there. This thing here could definitely be used as a tactical hawk. Now, if you're going to learn how to train how to fight with the tomahawk, specifically like this one of the things you're going to have to do is to take the time to learn how to wield it, and I recommend you do it with the sheath. And before I get into that, that I had to end up buying the sheath separately. That's another thing that you get when it comes to buying anything from Columbia River Knives and Tools, that, or at least when it comes to their tomahawks, you have to buy their sheath separately. And that, I think that kind of sucks. I mean, I think it should come with a sheath automatically, but hey, I don't sell it, I don't make up the rules, I just buy what I can. And oh, also, this thing here, despite what you guys are seeing on the camera, like, because this is kind of in reverse, as you can see right there, this thing is actually designed to go on the left side. So if you're left-handed, this is definitely the tomahawk for you. Now, I don't know if what's it called, the chogun. I don't know if the chogun can do the same thing. I think it might. I think it might be designed the same way, but if not, it's fine. It's a whatever, I think. And as far as the Nobo is concerned, for those of you guys who don't know, the Nobo just comes with a cover just to cover the the blade. It doesn't even click on; it just slips off and on. So it can go on either side if you're going to use the Nobo. For those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, the Nobo is basically this thing minus the spike, just a plain regular tomahawk. Now back to the using this thing for combat. If you're going to use this tomahawk for combat, you are definitely going to want to practice with the sheath on, and if you think you can do it without the sheath, that's fine. But just be advised that that it is a heavy head. This thing is really top heavy. If you're going to try and do it one-handed, as most tomahawks are done with or fought with, you have to have your hands somewhat here in the middle where the main handle is, just so you can have better grip or better balance, and this can be your counterbalance right here. You also got to be mindful of how you're going to swing this thing, because you want to be careful not to swing this thing to a point where you're going to end up stabbing yourself with the spike at the end. This is definitely something you're going to have to retrain your mind on how to fight with, especially if anyone out there knows how to fight using a tomahawk. But other than that, it's a pretty cool hawk. I don't have any real complaints about it. It's pretty effective. It's a useful camping tool if you want it for just that. And yeah, so not much. Nothing more to say on that. If you want to know more information about it, though, I'd recommend you check out that other YouTube channel, We All Juggle Knives, if you haven't already. That guy talks more about it into more detail. He's got videos on how it works, so you can make up your own decision whether or not to use it. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a good one.